fifth graders. For the last few weeks, we've been learning all about plants. We've learned that every single part of the plant plays a part in helping to keep the plant alive. This week, we'll be revisiting the importance of leaves and what part they play in the production of food for plants. We've also learned about plant cells and the organelles found in those cells. One of these organelles, the chloroplast, is going to be vital to our lesson. Remember, we just learned that this is where food production takes place. For the next few weeks, we're going to take what we already know about plants and combine it with some new terms and concepts to learn the process of photosynthesis. So let's take a look at some of these new terms. Photosynthesis. This is the process by which plants create their own food to eat. Next, let's take a look at photosynthesis etymology. Photo comes from the Greek for light, and synthesis comes from the Greek for putting together. Finally, let's take a look at photosynthesis formula, or equation. As you can see, there are a lot of numbers and letters in this formula, but there might be something that looks familiar. Let's take a look at this formula in some detail. The first group of numbers and letters stands for carbon dioxide. Do you see the H2O? Does this second section look a little familiar? If you said water, you would be right. The arrow stands for the light we just mentioned a moment ago. Those three elements, carbon dioxide, water, and light, are needed for photosynthesis to occur. The results are shown on the right side of the equation. The first group on the right stands for sugar, which the plant needs and uses as food. And the second part stands for oxygen, which the plant eliminates by breathing out. We'll go into more details during our lesson. During the next few weeks, we will be memorizing the formula or equation for photosynthesis. However, to get started, it's important that remember what three components are necessary for photosynthesis to occur and what the results of that process are. Here's a story that might help you remember. Imagine you get home from school and you're hungry. Let's think about what we could make to feed ourselves. You're probably thinking, sure, I can make myself something to eat, but what does this have to do with plants? Let's go find out. How about we make pizza? Of course, plants can't make pizza. They have to rely on their environment to help create food. I just want you to notice and remember that pizza and photosynthesis start with the same letter. Okay, so what are we going to need? We can make a simple pizza from 3 ingredients. We'll need sauce, white cheese, and crusty dough. Look at the first letters of these ingredients. S for sauce, W for white cheese, and C and D for crusty dough. I think you can remember these 3 ingredients, right? Those same letters will be used for the elements needed for photosynthesis. Do you see that? S for sunlight, W for water, and C and D for carbon dioxide. After we gather our 3 ingredients and assemble them into a pizza, we'll be putting our food in an oven in our kitchen. While plants will be taking their 3 elements within the cell walls and their leaves, specifically within the chloroplast. The process for cooking pizza is called baking, while the process for plants making food is called photosynthesis. I hope that story helps you remember what 3 elements are needed for photosynthesis to occur. Now, regardless of whether you make your pizza or you buy your pizza, you're going to end up with some trash or waste. The same can be said about photosynthesis. In photosynthesis, we're going to end up with 2 products, one that the plant will use and another one that's considered waste. Let's take a look at what this process looks like. There are 2 products that are made during photosynthesis. Sugar or glucose is the plant's food. This is the result of photosynthesis. Of course, the sugar is not going to look like this. Oxygen is also produced, but plants do not breathe oxygen like we do. They have no use for it, so it is considered waste. Photosynthesis takes place in the leaves, and that's exactly where the oxygen leaves the plant. Get it? Leaves. Now that you know the ins and outs of photosynthesis, we're ready to get started on our lesson. Are you ready? Let's go.